Okay, so can you just introduce yourself and your name and your social media and where people can find you?
Okay, so I am Shana Michele, and my social media handle is Tarot Witch Shana. So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, but Instagram's my main sort of place of expressing myself.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How did you get into tarot?
Um, when I went to like quite a formal religious school, and I just wasn't coping at all. And my quite sort of conservative parents somehow were convinced, someone convinced them, a psychologist actually, to send me to an alternative school. And I was like, yes, like it was just unheard of in
Huh.
in that community. So I was like the first person in that community to sort of do something like that. And when I went to the community school, which was just so beautiful, the whole was in an old church hall. It was very informal. It was, yeah. So there was another young lady there. I was 14 and she read the tarot and I was just fascinated right from the start. I was just like latched, give me this. And then like astrology, tarot, numerology, everything like that just sort of flowed from that moment.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this a long time.
Been doing this for over 50 years. Yeah, seeing the tarot as a map is like I can talk about that later because that was when all came to me when my sister died. But seeing like for me, I very much see each of the sections of the tarot, like the four suits and then the major cards. I see them or I recognize in them a journey that I can see I take that journey in my own life from the ace to the two to the three to the four. Um, and then again in the major cards, I can see how I go from the Fool to the Magician to the High Priestess. I can track my journey. So that's very much how I approach the deck from this place of recognizing that it's a map and where are we on the map and what's the map showing and telling us. So I feel like the tarot holds a very strong wisdom in itself. And that wisdom, what I see, relates directly to our experiences and to life. I don't approach the tarot as like through the esoteric side of it and the Kabbalah side or the symbolism side. I approach it through joining the dots between the tarot and my experiences or my clients' experiences or my students' experiences.
Okay, so when you look at the suits, you're not doing anything with the Kabbalah, like.
No, I study Kabbalah and
Hmm.
my family is Jewish, so I sort of felt like I had a duty, I felt like I had a duty to check in on the Kabbalah, and I just didn't resonate for me because I'm very much about being human. And it just felt like it was taking me away. It was going into this esoteric realm that took me away from my day-to-day life. And and
Hmm.
so I've got this radar on anything that hands me a stick to beat myself with. Yeah.
What? Wait, explain that one
So
more.
so if there's anything like, okay, so connects to how I approach the tarot. So some people approach the tarot like it's a teacher and it's telling you what you should be doing and what you're doing wrong. To me, that's giving me a stick to beat myself with. So
Hmm.
that's part of how I approach the tarot. I approach the tarot as a friend,
Hmm.
as a beloved, as a reflection of myself as a human that's supporting me. Because I see with the tarot story that everyone is alive can relate to that story, a bit like Shakespeare. Everyone that's ever been alive, everyone that ever will be alive. So to me, it's like a map that says this is the human experience. If you're feeling grief, it's part of the human experience. If you're feeling fear, it's part of the human experience. If you're feeling joy, so it's saying it's okay to just be where you are, as opposed to, oh, this tarot card is saying you should be doing this or feeling more like this. To me, that's just a stick to beat myself with. And there's just enough of that, enough sticks.
So is it more like a story where your different cards will mean different things when they're put together?
Yeah, well, definitely different cards mean different things when they're put together because that's that's sort of that's
The
how
story.
life is, you know,
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
that's how life goes, different things unfold. Yeah,
To
because life isn't like that. Life isn't
yeah.
individual snapshots. It's a flow.
Mhm.
And the thing is, that's also what makes tarot so much more accessible. Like when you look at it as 78 separate cards, it's so overwhelming. But it actually is five journeys. That's what
Mm.
it's just five clear journeys that we know. We actually all of us already know everything that's in the tarot pretty much because we experience it.
Hmm.
It's about our life. So
Do
that's
you
why
do you have any favorite cards that you resonate more with? Like,
it's more like I have favorite cards that. So one of the ways I use tarot is I use it to support the unraveling from intergenerational conditioning and cultural conditioning.
mm,
It's got a strong messages about that. So yeah, I've more got favorite cards because it's like, oh, that means, I'm facing something or unraveling something. So I really love the Ten of Swords because I see that as we've come to the end of that particular thought pattern in our neural pathways and we're ready to make new choices. So when that comes up, I'm like, oh, yay, love. I love the devil because it also means that same thing to me that we're facing our conditioning, that we're looking at where we've been put in the box of the bitch or the bad girl, when really that could be a personal power. You know, if we tend to be, because I tend to read for more sensitive people. So if we tend to be, who have been groomed to people please. So, the devil then will say, well, where's your bitch, girl? Bring her out.
yeah,
She's not even a bitch. She's just you advocating for yourself.
yeah. I think in the first path to spiritual unfoldment begins with the devil, and students are always confused about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
something you really have to kind of undo the chains that are holding you back and understand what real desire is, through strength. And then the magician
Yeah,
would
right.
be the three cards for the first spiritual unfoldment, esoterically. So
Yeah,
I agree with the devil. It is very much like one of the first human, really, like, because it's very concrete.
yeah, yeah,
Capricorn too. You can't get
yeah.
more Capricorn. It's so concrete, right?
How are you with the Ten of Swords? Where are you on that one?
Well, I just always think it's dead because how many swords does it take to kill me? Or I find like it's sometimes it's just about beating a dead horse and you just like gotta let that go.
Yeah,
You've been worried about it with the nine of swords and now you've got 10 swords, it's over. You just gotta stop
yeah.
and move on. Yeah, it's a very final card, and in a way it's like a lot better to get that than the three of swords because
Yeah,
it's
because you're just at the beginning of
yeah.
unraveling that particular painful. By the 10 you've done it, yeah. The three you're like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. What would you say like your more dominant psychic intuitive
Yeah,
skills are?
I definitely like strongly empathic. That's been such a big journey. So hugely an empath. And I just know things. So what's that one, Claire?
Okay, so there's like clairvoyant where you see things or you're
I do see things.
almost. Mm-hmm.
I definitely a bit of everything, except I don't taste or smell things only fleetingly. So I don't have
Mm-hmm.
the Claire Gustio one or that smell one. But definitely I've smelt and tasted things just really fleetingly. But yeah, I hear things, I see things, I just know things. But yes, but yeah, the most strongly I'd say is the empath and the just sort of knowing.
Oh, you said that you were able to feel illness. How is that?
Yeah, well, that's when I was talking about that, I was talking about when I have been in the astral realms, which is involuntary. I don't think I've ever astral traveled voluntarily, and I've astral traveled a lot. But yeah, I've definitely met in those realms beings that were like the embodiment in the astral of an illness, like met them and then like woke up the next day starting to come down with something. And the feeling that I had when I was interacting with that particular sort of presence was the same feeling in my body. Um, I think if I really focused on that, I could develop it more. Sometimes in my readings, I can sort of feel body things if I tune in. It's just not where my focus is because my focus is on like unraveling from cultural conditioning and intergenerational conditioning. It's sort of like that's sort of the sense that I've developed the most. But I can tune in and pick up around stuff around illness, more like what's the emotional or behavioral issue under it, not so much, like on the medical. I'm not a medical medium.
What is astro traveling exactly?
So, I mean, I can only talk about it from my experience.
Yeah.
But from my experience, it's when you're conscious and you feel like you're in your body, but when you move, your body stays still and you move without your body. I mean, that's what's happened in my
It's
experience.
like an out of body
Yeah,
experience.
100% out of body experience.
Mm-hmm.
And
Do you have like a wave come up through your body
uh,
before you sort of leave? I've heard.
yeah, it happens in a few different ways. Like when I was younger, actually, what would often start it was it's when when you're trying to get a radio station and it screeches. Like I my whole being, I could hear it, and my whole being would go into this sort of radio waves screech, and sometimes I'd hear radio frequencies, but also my whole body would buzz. I'd have this buzz and this sort of like vibrational thing that was shaking my body. It's not that still happens, but everything's sort of settled. It's been going on for sort of over 40 years, so it's a bit more settled. But yeah, it's that kind of thing. Or sometimes if I'm sitting up, which it rarely happens when I'm sitting up, it's usually as I'm falling asleep or it'll wake me up. So it's usually I'm lying in bed, but it has happened when I'm sitting up and it's felt like I was rocking. I felt like I'm rocking, but I'm looking. I'm like, I'm not rocking. Nothing's moving, but I could, yeah, feel a rocking.
Do you, but you also have some medium abilities that
Yeah.
your sister, you have a unique experience with your sister who unfortunately passed away. You talk about that,
Yeah.
or if you're comfortable talking about
I
it.
am comfortable. It's a big sort of story, so it's like, oh, where to come in on it. But yeah, I guess, well, I mean, my sister and I both have sort of mediumship. Again, I haven't developed it. I use it if people ask, but it's not my focus. Um, but yeah, my sister and I, we used to talk to my grandmother who's passed and my brother who passed. Um, so when we didn't get together that often, we lived in different states in Australia. But yeah, when we get together, they were the kind of conversations that we had. So when she was dying, and it happened very quickly, so I didn't have a lot of a chance to check in. But I felt I was like, she was over in Thailand actually, and I just felt very much in connection with her, and I felt her going over. I actually thought she was just going to go over and come back and have a near-death experience because that's the kind of person my sister is. So I was pretty shocked to discover that what I was feeling was actually her passing and going. So I was sort of connected with her, and that so a part of me went with her, which I think is common for people when someone close to them goes and they feel connected, that a part goes over also.
Mm-hmm.
So there was all of that going on, and then at her funeral, when I got up and spoke, um, I said, I'll be looking out for the signs. Everyone look out for the signs from my sister because that's what she used to say. If you see a butterfly, it's, a person's spirit that you're seeing. And as I said that, and this is to a packed audience of skeptics, as I said that, a moth flew off my sister's coffin, flew up in front of hundreds of people, and then landed in the front row. Actually, I think on my eldest daughter. And everyone saw that. And then after that, everyone was seeing like butterflies come and land on their windows. And there was this whole thing that happened with butterflies because my brother-in-law got butterflies. You can get them, monarch butterflies in envelopes, and he got them for my sister's 60th birthday, I think it was, or 59th birthday to be released by the sea. Everyone came and had these butterflies. It was symbolic. But the butterfly that my brother-in-law had, his envelope would not leave him. In fact, that butterfly stayed on him, stayed on him. I tried to put it on a bush, it wouldn't go. It stayed on him, stayed in his house, and stayed around his house for a couple of weeks.
That
Mm,
was her or
yeah.
part of her spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he sent me videos recently of another butterfly that landed on him on
Mm.
his veranda, on his balcony, and just stayed again with him for ages. Yeah.
Yeah.
In that,
Oh, your sister posted
yeah, there's
an
that too.
Arcturian healer.
Yeah. So
Yes.
just before she died, she posted this because she was like, I don't know what I'm meant to do. I don't know what to, she just never sort of understood what she should be doing, what her purpose was. And then just before she died, she posted on LinkedIn as an Arcturian healer. But I never spoke to her again since then. And she didn't tell me she was going to do that. I just found it on LinkedIn. I can't remember how it showed up. Yeah, and then she died.
Do you know anything about the
Well, I
Arc?
didn't, and then I started to research it. But and I think because what my sister used to say, and in some ways, I mean, I'm much more alternative than her. She was sort of not highly alternative, but she was in her thinking, and she sort of woke up at 40, so where I sort of was alternative like since I was 14. So there
Yeah.
was that kind of difference. But she used to say that we can heal anything, like we can just heal, which I still like struggle with, but I believe her, but that's what and that's connected to the Arcturian healing somehow, is this sense that, there's sort of ways to immediately heal.
Do you think that she did that because she knew she was sick, or she
Well, yeah,
or
I don't know that she knew she was just about to die, but she told my parents that she wouldn't live past 60.
mm,
And I remember saying to her, oh, when we're old and we're grey, we can do readings together. And she's like, no, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to be there. Which I'm kicking myself because I wish I'd said, what? What do you know? Instead, I went, no, don't be, no, no, which is natural. But
yeah. Well, how do you think you're gonna die? Like, yeah, it's
what is it
probably.
you know? Like, what are you feeling? Like, what messages have you had? Yeah. But yeah.
Do you talk to your sister in spirit form? Is
Yeah,
she around you often?
yeah, well, she's like in that first year, she was really loud, and I would see her and was very strong. And then she's sort of gone more distant. So I feel her in more like she's just around me. So she just does feel a bit more in the ethers. But sometimes, that butterfly will just fly past at a particular moment, or I'll see someone in the distance that looks like her. Or, so things like that. Or I'm getting goosebumps and things like that. Like she'll let me know through goosebumps or dreams or yeah. And I probably could talk to her more, but I'm still grieving her. So I get really sad. And I think
Mhm.
that sort of just stops the di more of the direct messaging
How,
coming through.
how long ago did she
Oh,
pass?
over 10 years.
Oh, okay.
But I
Well,
miss
it
her.
takes a while. Yeah. Um,
I mean, it's a lot better than when she first died, like I'm much more at peace with it and she said to me straight away after she died that I would not regret it in the long run. And she really let me know that she was very happy, that it's what she wanted, and that she had
mhm.
work to do on that side, and she could do her work from that side. Mm.
Do you when you talk to your sister or other spirits, how do they give you messages?
Yeah, it depends. I have this parking spirit guide who's like the loudest and strongest. So I just hear him. He's like, just drive around the block one more time. I say, can I have a park right in front there? He goes, yeah, yeah, just don't worry. Don't worry that you're held up at the pedestrian crossing. And you'll get there. Or he'll say, keep driving. It's going to take a few goes. It's busy.
Mhm.
He'll sort of, he's like the loudest.
Is it more of like a guardian angel, or is he specific for
No,
parking?
he's actually somebody else's uncle who passed, but he's been passed around as a parking spirit.
Oh, what did your sister say something about soul groups? Or
Yes,
do you?
this was when around the time like when all the funerals and all of that was happening, and there was in the sort of the house of religion type thing, there was this screen that divides the men from the women, and the pattern in the screen was the flower of life. And my sister, because she was very loud then, was like, look at the pattern of the flower of life. See how like all the petals, you look at one flower and all the petals join. That's like a soul group. But see how one petal then joins to the next group. So they're all
Mhm.
interlinked. So that you can, because I didn't understand how I could feel so soul connected to this person and that person, but this person over here wasn't in the same soul group directly as this one over here. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah. So she explained it. She goes, "This is how it works." I'm like, "Oh, wow, thanks." The other thing that she said to me that I haven't mentioned is because I was like, I knew that so many people wanted her attention. And, being the groomed as a people pleaser, I was like, oh, but you must be busy because, everyone wants you. And she's like, no, it's like I'm looking down into a fishbowl. And so I can see everybody. So I can be present for everybody because I'm looking down into this fishbowl that you're all in. It's not like I'm going to separate people. I'm just there with you all. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like if I do mediumship in a reading, it's only if the person's asking about a really dear loved one. It's only if it's heart-based. If they're like, oh, then that feels safe for me. And I wouldn't go there for any other reason. Because why else? Yeah, but
But usually that spirit really wants to come in anyway. They're going to be knocking on the door,
and it's
pestering you.
beautiful.
So,
It's comforting, it's relational, it's heartwarming.
hmm yeah, it's definitely reassuring.
Yeah,
I mean, I think tarot in general can be really reassuring
absolutely.
because the story just keeps evolving, your own story, your own human story. And, you know, whoever I'm reading for, or you're reading for, they're the main character of that story. And isn't that awesome? Like you get to be the main character of your story every single day.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's really awesome.
do you use any other sorts of like thing? Do you do pendulums or anything
Yeah.
sometimes?
You know what? I've had this really weird thing where I cannot read palms, and I'm like, because I'm fascinated by it all. So palms and pendulums, I was told no, no. People can't read my palm. The stuff that they say about me when they read my palm, and I've had friends be with me who've had accurate palm readings, and they go, "What was that? My palms can't be read. I can't read other people's palms." Pendulums, it's like it's okay if other people are doing it for me, but it's like I'm not allowed or it's not open to me, which is a
Mm-hmm.
bit frustrating because I would have done it all. So no, not so much. I dabble in astrology. I'm not a professional astrologer because it's just hasn't. Yeah, it's just a little bit too complicated for me, but but I love it, and I often will check in on that. I love numerology, but I don't really. Haven't used it. I just find the tarot just does the trick for me between what I just pick up and yeah, and the tarot as far as readings go. I did runes for a bit. I used to like throw sticks. I find that fascinating, seeing the patterns. I just yeah, it's sort of like signs and patterns and just that you come across in generally in life, sort of. Yeah.
Oh, what about, have you ever, do you use Oracle cards or Lenormand, or do you just, what is your favorite deck to really work with?
Yeah, I'm very fascinated by Lenormand, and I did own a deck for a while and looked into it, but was just like, I don't know, I might go back to it. Yeah, so I didn't sort of hold. I've got Oracle decks that I'll use, but I don't use them in readings. I just use them for myself. And I find like I'll find an Oracle deck and it'll just be like yelling at me, and then it will just stop being relevant, just won't talk to me anymore. So yeah, I just kind of use whatever's yells. So,
Well, there's also the Marseille deck that's sort of similar to, it's more tarot, and then
yeah.
the Aleister Crowley deck, the talk.
Yeah, so as far as tarot decks go, I mean, I stick with tarot decks. I love the tradition of them, like the traditional structure in the deck. Um, I just right away, I've had hundreds of decks. Is that an exaggeration? Probably. Maybe I've had tens of decks in my life, and I've had what was the round one, the mother something mother. Can't remember. Beautiful deck. I've had the Crowley deck. I've had all sorts of decks, but I just keep coming back to the Rider-Waite-Smith. It just resonates with me. It just works for me. And yeah, I've even gotten rid of all my other decks, and I've regretted it, and I've tried to get them back. And then when I've got them back, I've gone, they're just not doing it for me. I just seem to be a Rider-Waite-Smith kind of
Well,
person.
there's such a collective subconscious already built into that specific deck.
Yeah.
It's so used across, the world more so than a Crowley deck or a Marseille deck. And I often think that because it's so embedded in our collective subconscious, it's much easier for me to scry, I guess is the right word, into the cards,
Such a
which,
great way of saying it. I love that.
yeah, yeah. So, like I just like to, when I lay them out, sort of gaze at them, and not the King of Wands can be any sign. I know that he's assigned a specific zodiac. They all are, but I just feel something different when I look at them. So that sort of thing too. That it's not super specific, because once I know all the meanings, they're really just in my subconscious.
Yeah.
And each mystery school assigns a lot of those minor arcana different zodiacs anyway, so it's not consistent.
Yeah,
uh,
that's right. And
the only consistent. Mm-hmm. Go,
I
sorry.
just like, sorry, I didn't cut you off there. The From my experience of reading like thousands of people, and just my own practice with the cards, what I've seen is that pretty much every court card lives inside of us. Like we have a page of wands, even if it's quieter for us than say the page of pentacles, but we have all the pages, all the knights, all the kings, all the queens inside of us, and it just depends on, our personality or what is being stimulated in us.
What do you think is like the number one question when people come and ask you for readings? I think there's a general.
Not so much sort of specific, like, yeah, because I know a lot of people get relationship questions, and I do get a bit of that, but I always start my readings asking my client what they want to get out of the reading, and I just say, just give me the essence in 3 or 4 words. And so that's what I go on more. And so usually I get asked for clarity, direction, insight, confirmation, sometimes guidance, which isn't my favorite actually. But yeah, clarity, direction, insight. Yeah. So it's usually those sort of things that people will ask for. And then I leave room at the end for them to ask specific questions. And yeah, in that, I don't know. Yeah, it really varies. Really, I find it yeah, it varies a lot.
Do you have any particular spreads that you use that help more, or that you like to do more than, or is it just random, or
No, well, I think as I'm not very much a creature of habit, but as I've gotten older, I can see like I've developed some habits in my tarot readings that just work for me. So Celtic Cross is what I use, but I always take three cards from underneath the deck
Huh?
and put them to the other side of the Celtic Cross, and that just tells me a bit more what's going on inside the person's unconscious and gives me the middle card is to me like the key for the reading. Um,
The what crosses them? Is that what you mean by the
no,
middle?
like of the three that I take from underneath.
Oh, the three that you, okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I get a lot of information from that. And then because I find my readings are so immediate, because that's what I'm interested in, but often my client isn't, but I'm really interested what's going on right now so that I can help the person really connect with what's real for them and, you know, be empowered, make empowered choices based on what they really need and desire, as opposed to, the conditioned sort of responses. So yeah, my Celtic Cross tends to be very immediate, so I always put a second layer out to sort of progress it, and it gives me a bit more information. And then when I do questions, I sort of do this pyramid thing that just, I don't know, it just came. I think I just invented it, which, I mean, I think rarely with readings any spread. You can really do anything in spreads as long as you know exactly what each position means. It doesn't, you can, make them up till the cows come home,
I
really.
mean, I sort of like always choose this Celtic cross because I'm a creature of habit. Like I just because I find that there's 10 cards, so you've got enough to work with right off the bat, right? But then I do something where if I feel like a card should be reversed, I reverse it. And I don't normally read reversals because there's 78 cards, so many stories. But like sometimes I'll reverse a card or I'll move two cards. I have thinking maybe that's not going there. And then I do just tend to throw cards in a line and I read from right to left. So that's
Right.
the past and then all the way to the future. And it just sort of comes together as a story.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
do
yeah.
you do more predicative? Is that the right word? Prediction based readings, or are they more intuitive? Like, because you said you didn't really like guidance. So some people, have different. Some people are more like this is the person that you're going to marry, and they describe somebody, right? And
Yeah.
then
That is
other people.
not my thing, which,
Okay.
was really challenging for me when I was younger because I saw, that's what people wanted and that's what a lot of people were offering. And it's just never been my thing because when I went to readers and they told me that stuff, it wasn't helpful. It wasn't, it's like, how does that help me? That's basically kind of where I'm coming from. I'm like, how does this support the client? How does this help the client? Telling them who they're going to marry, right? Or that their relationship's going to break up, or it's like I just want to empower them. I want to help them connect with their truth, their soul, their real desires, what they're really feeling, and support them to make choices so that they can make a choice about who they marry.
Right. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's really important to give people choices. Like, I mean, nothing's written in stone. Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
I just like, if you do A, this will be the probable outcome. And if you
Yeah,
do B, this will be the probable outcome. And there's,
absolutely.
there's,
Having said that, I think the nature of tarot is predictive because the tarot to me is functions as a map, and any map is predictive. If you leave from point A and you're traveling to point B, you can predict you're going to get to point B. What actually sort of happens there is very open, but you can predict that. So I think that tarot readings are, by their own nature, predictive. And I'm often told, oh, that was so accurate that this came out and that came out, this happened, that happened. But that's sort of a byproduct to me. It's not what I'm aiming, me personally, what I'm aiming for. It's just yeah.
hmm do you tend to give people choices or
Yeah,
about, yeah,
yeah,
because people, I think they have free will to choose their own. I
absolutely.
find like I just find sometimes I just find like telling somebody who they're going to marry is too limiting. like what happens if you don't meet him for 20 years or her? Then you're just going to be
Yeah.
stuck waiting for 20 years or
Yeah.
what, you know what I mean? You don't know what.
Yeah. And I know, like when I was younger and sort of much more impressionable, and I'd go and get these readings and told things, and then like that's what I'd hook onto. It's not helpful. It's not
No,
empowering.
no,
Not
when you're,
supportive. So I don't want to offer something that
yeah,
I know didn't support me.
yeah, it's tricky, but just when you're reading, finding out what you feel comfortable with because
Yeah.
you do want to help people. You don't want to
Yeah.
limit them,
Yeah. So
you
if
know.
someone's asking me that sort of question, then I'll more look at what's going on for them emotionally. What pressures are they under? Like, why are they hooking on to that? Not to give them more sticks to beat themselves, but to in a way like to accept that that's what they're looking for.
Yeah,
Okay, you're looking for those kind of answers. That means you're longing for something, like, and that's where the conversation will go as opposed to the outcome,
right.
so that
It's
they
the
can be
journey.
empowered to, understand how powerful that longing is. Like, yes, if you're longing for that, yay, great, bring it in. Write your list, get clear. What do you want? Like, listen to yourself.
Yes, I find that a lot of people are trying to manifest specific people, and I keep saying like you can't do that. That's not. How would you like it if somebody tried to manifest you and you didn't like them? Seems like you're creating a lot of negative karma,
Yeah.
or
More
just
about get clear
negativity.
on what you want, not to manifest it, but to know what you want so that when
Well,
it's in front of you, you can say yes.
I mean, like if your ex breaks up with you, don't manifest him or her back. Like that's the sort of I
Yeah.
get that a lot. Yeah, but mostly it's 20-year-olds. So I'm like, or 30, I'm like, you'll get over it. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm I've been in love a few times. Trust me. It's not. So do you want to talk about the wolf entity, or do you want to end this now,
Yeah,
or
I
do
can
you?
talk about the wolf.
Okay, yeah. Is that
Really,
like a spirit animal or?
yeah, definitely a spirit animal. So, like in my really early astral experiences, so they started when I was 11, and a lot what used to happen in those really early experiences is I'd feel this, what I presumed, because was some kind of entity trying to take me over. Now, I knew nothing about astral traveling. I knew nothing about entities. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I thought I was going mad. And no one could tell me until I got a bit older. But yeah, so I have this sort of sense that this thing was trying to get into me, and it was like, and I'd feel my hands go into claws, but of course it was my astral hands, and I'd feel this growl, and it just freaked me out. Had no idea what was going on. And then now, because it's all happened so long ago, I'm not sure which order. No, I'm pretty, actually, this is the order. We had many, many years later, so I'm in my late 20s now, mid to late 20s, and we had a builder come to help us renovate the property that we were living on, and he had some psychology degree, and he was helping me work through this sort of stuff. And then what came from him working with me around this particular creature was that he helped me to embrace an aspect of myself that was it came across as like the teacher and being able to stand in my power, because at that point I was very much the pleaser and the yes person, and I didn't have a strong um capacity to advocate for myself. And so this being was this powerful being that could stand up and advocate for myself. So I met them through this random guy that came into my life. And then again, a little bit further down the track, probably early 30s, I did a I did a spirit journey with someone, with a shaman person. It was a whole lot of us, whole lot of women gathered, and she had a drum and she took us down into the underworld to meet our spirit guide. And mine just came like the wolf. And it was all the feelings that I had of that being and all the feelings I had of that man, the psychologist man that helped me. So it all just sort of came together. And I'd have tea leaf readings and the person would look in my cup. Oh, that's something else I do is tea leaf readings. They'd look in my cup and they go, oh, there's a wolf right down in the center. So, it's just been very strong and I feel like it's been a part of myself that I separated off from, was groomed to separate from, that that was so strong. It was like trying to talk to me, like integrate me, integrate me, integrate me. And yeah, now I feel much more integrated with that. So yeah, it is like spirit guide, but a spirit animal and, an aspect of myself because isn't that what all spirit guides and spirit animals are, just different aspects of ourselves that we might
Yeah.
more or
So
less connected to.
a wolf
Integrated.
helped you assert yourself, is that, and be bold,
Yeah.
whereas women are often taught to be more docile and
Yeah.
people pleasing. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, well, I like that. Sometimes you need a wolf to
Absolutely. Wolf ally.
yeah, yeah. No, I was selling cosmetics, so off topic, and it was lioness beauty. I had to, you
Nice.
know, the
Yes.
the, the lion. So
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes we pick powerful animals to like help guide us.
Yeah. So much for reaching out and really
Yeah,
exciting. It feels good.
yeah,
It's good
yeah.
to
I liked your vibe, and I thought you felt authentic and